Every month, a document arrives that decides how much of your work you actually get to keep, and most people glance at one number on it and ignore the rest. It's your payslip. And hidden in those confusing lines is the answer to a question most people never ask. Where does my money actually go before it even reaches me? Today, I'll decode the payslip piece by piece, so you understand exactly what you earn, what gets taken, and why it matters far more than you think. This is one of the most useful financial skills almost nobody teaches. Let's get into it. Let's start with the two numbers that matter most, because confusing them is the single most common money mistake. The first is your gross pay. That's your salary before anything is taken out. It's the big, impressive number, the one in your job offer. The second is your net pay. That's what actually lands in your bank account after all the deductions. This is your real income, the money you can actually live on. Here's the key lesson. Always budget and plan your life around your net pay, never your gross. The gap between the two catches people out constantly. They mentally spend the big number and then wonder why there's less. So what happens in the gap between gross and net? That's where the deductions live, and they fall into a few main categories. Let's walk through them. The biggest one, almost everywhere, is income tax. This is the government's cut of your earnings, and in most countries it's progressive, meaning the more you earn, the higher the percentage on your top slice of income. This is why a raise never quite feels as big in your account as it did on paper. Part of that extra income is taxed at your highest rate. Understanding this also explains a common myth. Earning more never means you take home less overall. Only the portion above each threshold is taxed higher, never all of it. The next major category is social contributions, things like pension and social security payments. This is money taken from your pay and directed toward your future pension, healthcare, or unemployment protection, depending on where you live. It stings to see it leave, but it's not simply gone. A lot of it is buying you future benefits or a state pension. Think of it as forced saving and insurance, even if you'd rather manage it yourself. You may also see deductions for a workplace pension or retirement plan, money you choose to set aside for your own future, sometimes matched by your employer. If your employer offers to match your contributions, pay very close attention. That match is free money, an instant return on your savings that you should almost never leave on the table. It's often the single highest return thing on your entire payslip. Now, why does reading all of this actually matter? 3 reasons. First, errors happen. Payroll systems make mistakes, and if you never read your payslip, you'll never catch them. Wrong tax codes, missing hours, incorrect deductions can quietly cost you for months. Second, it reveals your real hourly worth. Divide your net pay by the hours you actually work, and you get the true price of your time, a number that makes you think very differently about a purchase when you realize how many hours of real, after-tax work it costs. Third, it makes you a smarter earner. Once you understand how tax brackets and contributions work, you can make better decisions about pension contributions, benefits, and negotiating pay. Here's something most people never internalize. The difference between what your employer pays and what you take home, often called the tax wedge, can be substantial. Your labor might cost your company far more than the net figure you receive, with the difference going to taxes and contributions. This isn't meant to make you angry. It's meant to make you informed. When you truly understand this gap, you value tax-advantaged accounts and employer matches much more, because they're some of the few legal ways to keep more of what your work generates. So here's your action step for this week, and it takes 10 minutes. Actually open your most recent payslip and read every single line. Identify your gross and net. Find each deduction and label what it's for: tax, pension, social security. Check that the numbers look right. If a line makes no sense, ask your HR or payroll department. That's literally what they're there for. You'll likely learn something about your money that you never knew, and you might even spot something worth fixing. And one mindset shift to leave you with: your payslip is not just an administrative document. It's a report card on your financial life, delivered every single month. The people who build wealth tend to be the people who understand exactly where their money comes from and where it goes. You can't optimize what you don't look at. Reading your payslip is the simplest possible way to start paying attention. So let's bring it together. Your gross pay is the headline number. Your net pay is what you actually live on. Always plan around net. The gap is filled by income tax, social contributions, and pension deductions, and each one tells you something. Reading your payslip helps you catch errors, understand the true value of your time, and grab free money like employer matches. It takes 10 minutes, and almost nobody does it, which is exactly why doing it puts you ahead. If this helped, the next episode answers the biggest question in personal finance. How much money would you actually need to never have to work again? I'll see you there.